Hi all, very good afternoon. Guess you all have seen my earlier videos which I have posted in YouTube and also I'm actively sharing in WhatsApp. I'd like to talk about AWS Infrastructure as Services today. Not major infrastructure as services, but to an extent. Prior to that, I'd like to talk about public IP and private IP. Public IP is something that is assigned to your laptop or desktop in home through which you can interact with the internet, and through internet your system can be accessible if you allow it. Private IP is through your system or through your server you can access the internet, but through internet your system cannot be accessed. You either need a VPN or a NAT gateway. In AWS we have two types of EC2 instances, that is EC2 instance which is available public, EC2 instance which is available private. The EC2 instance which is available public will be accessible by to and fro internet. The EC2 instance which is in private will be accessible to the internet, but through internet you cannot access that particular instance. A NAT gateway is always created in a public subnet. That means that particular public subnet's route table is mapped with internet gateway. In a private subnet, the route table is pointing towards NAT gateway with 0.0.0.0/0. We have few concepts like auto scaling, load balancer, CloudFront. Suppose during a Super Bowl, Bruno Mars is on the stage. Every crowd took their mobile and started to shoot and upload videos in YouTube. At that point, due to traffic, the server which hosts the particular event, Super Bowl event, is getting huge traffic and it's about to get shut down. In that scenario, if it is mapped with auto scaling instances, typical type of instance count which we have designed like 2 to 5 or 2 to 10 will be launched so that the particular traffic in that particular Super Bowl instance will be distributed across other instances. We have a term known as load balancer. Load balancer is used in order to balance the traffic between the nodes. That is, you create a load balancer and you attach instances as targets. In this way, the traffic that receives in the load balancer will get distributed across the instances, which is mapped behind the load balancer. An application server can be hosted either in public subnet or private subnet. It is hosted in public subnet if there is a necessity that it should be accessed via the internet, and that is to and fro. That is from instance outside world internet through outside world internet instance. In major cases, website kind of application, web application is placed in public subnet and mapped with the WAF, web application firewall. It prevents the hackers. The access to particular application to the clients can be given using IAM, Identity Access Management System. Suppose you have a database. That particular database has to be accessed by the persons sitting in the on-premise, that is data center or an office. They have hosted their database in cloud. Securely, they need to access. In that case, they can access it via VPN. AWS provides site-to-site VPN, client VPN, through which the communication will be private, end-to-end encrypted, as if like WhatsApp, and that is the merit of it. We'll talk about CloudFront. You have a website, an instance. People, you have hosted it in the Mumbai region, but people from North America wants to access it. In that case, you create a CloudFront and map that particular website to it. In that case, the CloudFront is pointed to the nearest edge location. That is, even though if your website is hosted in North America, if someone wants to access it from Mumbai, then they can access it via CloudFront URL. That is known as edge location concept. Apart from this, in cloud computing, we have distributed computing, parallel computing, edge computing, grid computing. One who cannot, one cannot be master of all, but I'd advise you to explore private cloud, that is OpenStack. It involves various terminologies like Horizon Dashboard, Swift, Cinder, Neutron, Glance, these kind of concepts. And in AWS, we have a bucket that is known as S3. S3 can be either a glacier or a object storage. S3 glacier is something that stores data which is not immediately necessary to be accessed. That is backup data, archival data, infrequent access data will be stored in Glacier. Tiering is possible in S3, like intelligent tiering. That means you create a bucket, you enable versioning for it, and you enable intelligent tiering for it. That means that particular bucket data, if it's not frequently accessed, will move from S3 object storage to the Glacier. We can also set up alarms for it. I'll talk about CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a monitoring agent. And when you create a virtual machine, you also install CloudWatch in it. The CloudWatch is an agent that interacts with the kernel of the bare metal operating system, and it periodically produce alerts or alarms like CPU utilization is more than 70%. CPU disk utilization is more than 80%. Memory utilization is more than 80%. Like that, it will throw alarms. It's responsibility of the managed cloud services team to pick those alarms and to analyze what is causing these alarms more utilization. What is causing these particular alarms more utilization? They will pick that alarm and they will check the server ID, and they will use commands to list out the process. TOP, top, is a command which is used in order to find which process is using more utility. Based on that, they will send a request to the application owner. The application owner will act on it, and then he will subside. He will ensure the utilization gets subsided. These are the uses. Um, so we have discussed about AWS and few AWS services. We will also talk about AWS VPC. AWS VPC means Virtual Private Cloud. When an EC2 instance is hosted, it is hosted in a VPC. Instances which are created under a VPC, same VPC, can be accessed to and fro each other. Whereas instance in one VPC and instance in second VPC cannot be accessed. It has to be peered. There is a concept known as VPC peering. That means one VPC is paired with another VPC so that the instances which are present or the resources that are present inside these two different VPCs can be communicated. Got it? Suppose there is nearly 50 VPC and we need to connect everything. VPC pairing is not possible. For that, we have a service known as transit gateway. In transit gateway, you can attach n number of VPCs. There is a limit like 100 VPC. If you send an email to AWS, they will increase the count size of number of VPCs that can be attached with the transit gateway. Transit gateway acts as a central point to which VPCs can be shared or can be attached. Suppose a AWS account is holding a transit gateway and you want other AWS accounts to access this particular AWS account, then you can share this transit gateway with other AWS accounts and create transit gateway attachment. That is how you can get multiple VPCs communication. So we have seen CloudWatch, VPC pairing, transit gateway, public server, private server, and about kernel operating system, CloudFront. Okay. What is Elastic IP? I have a server at home. In that particular server, I have attached Elastic IP. The beauty of it is, even if I reboot it multiple times, that particular IP will not be changed. Elastic IP is no, this is static IP. Similarly, Elastic IP means this particular static IP can be deallocated and allocated to different servers. That is Elastic IP. But the concept is static IP. Elastic IP is static. That means once you attach it to a system, if you reboot that system, the IP won't get changed. This is the beauty of Elastic IP and static IP. VPN means you are privately accessing resources. For example, this is your AWS cloud. This is your on-premise. From on-premise, you need to access the resources present in the AWS cloud. How you would do it? For that, we create a VPN, site-to-site VPN. This VPN bridges the gap between on-premise and AWS. The resources which is present in on-premise will access the resources in the AWS using site-to-site VPN. Client VPN means it will be installed in your laptop or in your desktop, through which you will privately access the server which is present in the private subnet. That is, which is attached with NAT gateway, not internet gateway. Got my point? Yeah. I guess I have covered a few concepts in AWS. I'll come up with new ideas and then I'll host videos in the short future. Thanks. In a private subnet, the route table